Hey you guys, let's talk about Lightbringer. I am Christy with Tatted Hat Girl Reads, and I really just want to dive right in to talk about this book by Pierce Brown. It is one of the installments of the Red Rising series where Darrow is a rebel and he is creating a rising thanks to the death of his wife who had a bigger dream, and he is trying to carry out that dream. But due to many years of war, he is now having a inner turmoil, just a battle within. So now not only are we facing war, but we are facing an inner battle. And it has been a gut-wrenching story for me. I am blown away at how Pierce's writing has grown from Red Rising to Lightbringer being book 6. We have one more book to go. I'm going to be devastated when it's over, but it has to come to an end, and I am looking forward to that release to see what happens, because that one's called Red God, if that title stays the same, which just intrigues me, so I'm ready. But Lightbringer itself was absolutely a gut-wrenching read. I cannot express enough to bring tissues for the ending and ice cream for the ending. As I've said, Darrow has a uprising that he is trying to make the world a better place, but he, through years of war and the death toll is just adding up, he is now battling inside. A friend gives him a book called The Path, and that's an ongoing conversation and callback throughout this book, and it's wonderful. I've highlighted so much of this book because I use it in my Kindle, but also in paperback, and I'm definitely going to suggest reading it versus the audiobook. I have ran across some people that say they love the audiobook. It was not my cup of tea, as you know, if you watched my last video. Darrow has been beaten down through the years and throughout the first 5 books, and from the 5th book into the 6th book being Lightbringer, he has shown that he is exhausted. You can feel his exhaustion. And unfortunately, it feels like he can never get a break or catch his breath throughout this entire book. It just doesn't stop all the way to the end. It is just unbelievable how much Pierce Brown fit into 700 pages. Let's talk about the antagonist, Lysander. He is, for me, even though he's an adult, feels like a child to me. His behavior is of a spoiled gold, a spoiled brat, and I can't get past him. I knew coming into this book, I was like, oh man, really? We have to talk about Lysander more? And we do throughout this entire book. He's an antagonist. He has a huge dislike, loathes Darrow. If you could have polar opposite, it would be Darrow and Lysander. What's funny is through the book, it starts out with even Lysander, you're like, oh, maybe Pierce has given him a little bit of guilt for some of the things he has done. And then Darrow is carrying his own guilt. So you feel a lot of that throughout this book. And then it shifts. And I cannot stress enough that I do not like Lysander. I have said it many times as I was reviewing this book as I went along through each chapter. I still don't like Lysander. That didn't get better. I was hoping. There's another gold that I absolutely love that I will not talk about, because if I do, it will spoil not only this book, but potentially, if you have not started the Red Rising series, potentially another book prior to this one. So I can say honestly that that person had such a redemption story that it made this book not only have a slight comic relief during the dark moments, but also an energy that felt good. And I was just like, every time I got to this gold storyline, I was just like, oh, thank you, thank you. A little bit of reprieve from Darrow and Lysander's back and forth war. And I loved it. Virginia, she has an important moment, and she has made a hard decision in this book, but you really don't read about her the way you do in previous books. She's not in this a lot. Her moment is impactful because she has to make a decision to bring her husband home or not. And, you know, when you've not had him for so long, you've got a child that was taken, it's completely understandable that you would want him to come back home immediately, but she makes the hard decision to go out and send him on his way. Could this have been the final book? I'm gonna say no. I did wonder, it's like at first, when I first picked it up, I was like, okay, let me read this with the intent of thinking this would have been the last book and that there's not gonna be a seventh and that I don't know there's a seventh book coming. I really don't think this could have been the last book. The whole entire book is set up feeling like there will be a seventh book. And you feel that more towards the end. So could those have been chapters added and a storyline shifted? Absolutely. But this never felt like, because you know how some books will go and you're like, well, I really that could have been the end for me and I would have been great. And you stop reading the series. Not this book. You will need book 7 to feel completed. And for Pierce Brown to feel like he has really truly completed this storyline for each of the characters with justice and redemption and punishment. It's going to need it all. And book 7, I hope to have all of that. Let's see, what else do we have on our topic? Really, that's about it with this one without giving spoilers. Again, I highly suggest bringing ice cream and tissues because Pierce Brown is not afraid of breaking the reader's heart, and it was an emotional end. I got to the end and could not believe what I had just read. I was waiting for like a haha gotcha. That's not really what happened. Tricked you. That's not the case unless he does something in book 7, which I do not foresee being possible. And if he does it, then I would just be like, I would be done. So I'm kind of thankful that he made sure you knew this outcome was this outcome. Bring your tissues, bring the ice cream, bring some cookies. Just plan on really being in your feelings when you're done with this book, and maybe for a couple days. I really wish I had recorded this video immediately, but I was in bed when I finished the book because I was stunned. So if you have not picked up the Red Rising series at all, please start, and please make sure you get past book 3. Continue on the series. Some people quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. 4 through 6 are amazing. Book 6 was spectacular. It was Pierce Brown's best writing throughout the series, in my opinion. But that's all I have for you today, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Till next video.